available here in the state of Maryland and beyond. Just by a show of hands, all the students, raise your hand if you have applied for one scholarship. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. How about 10 scholarships? Ooh, I saw a lot of all right, did you know that there are scholarships for the most creative sandwich contest? Raise your hand if you love sandwiches. It's okay. I like peanut butter and jelly myself. Raise your hand if you like hamburgers, hot dogs. They're really good, aren't they? Yeah. JIP has the most creative sandwich contest worth over $25,000. There's also a contest or a scholarship opportunity for the from the American Association of Fire Sprinklers, worth over $20,000. How many of you are Hispanic? Raise your hand. Everybody, most people should be raising their hand on that one. Did you know there's scholarships just for being Hispanic? Oh, you didn't know that, did you? I saw a lot of faces said, oh my goodness, are you serious? Yes, if you Google scholarships for Hispanics, you'll find that there are a list of over 100. Yeah. Raise your hand if you'd be willing to go to your prom in a duct tape outfit. It's okay. Say thank you. She was like, I will go there. Did you know they have a contest for $4,000? There are scholarships from McDonald's. There are scholarships from Chick-fil-A. There are scholarships from Macy's. There are scholarships from the people or organizations that make your car, where you get your gas, the clothes that you put on your back, the pillows that you lay your head down on, or even wash your body, or even brush your teeth. I do hope you brush your teeth, right? You do brush your teeth in the morning? Okay, good. All of these organizations offer scholarships. So what you want to do is when you're on your way home, is take a list of all of the organizations and merchants and retailers, all of the stores, and visit their websites. Because you will find many of these organizations offer scholarships. Now, we are all here because we're millionaires, right? No, we're not. We're just joking. We're all here because we want to find out how to fund an education using a limited amount of resources that we have. And that's exactly why I'm here, to offer that to you. So I thank Wells Fargo because they were able to deliver most of the information. So I thank you guys for that. I thank you for Parkdale High School as well for offering us a platform to invite this information to you. And I thank you guys for attending. So let's get started. So the first thing that we want to talk about is that obviously the overview. We're going to go over the FAFSA mistakes. We're also going to talk about the federal updates and the CAPS account. We're also going to talk about the state updates, and then we're going to finish up with some resources and tools for you every time. Now, back up. There we go. So what you see here is when you're supposed to be completing, when you're completing the FAFSA, the year of your taxes that you will make sure that you have on the FAFSA form itself. As you see, if you're a senior now and you're planning to enroll in college or career, school, or a university, you should have completed the 2016 tax returns. So we're not looking for this year. We're looking for the year before that. Now, one of the things are that what if in 2016 you earn less money than you did in 2016 and 17? Well, just leave the FAFSA alone and let it collect the 2016 information. Well, what happens if you made more money in 2017 than you did in 2016? No one asked you. Keep it to yourself. Okay? Sound good? All right. So a couple of FAFSA mistakes that we wanted to cover. Students, just because you do not receive an allowance does not make you independent. If you didn't buy your own clothes or buy your own food or you don't pay any rent, That's just a small element of just being not independent. But more specifically, if you're not 24, if you don't have a child, if you're not in grad school, if you're not in the military, those are other more important elements, technical elements that'll deem you dependent if you're not considered one of those options. Also, I don't plan to go to a school in Maryland. That is one of the worst decisions that you can ever do. Let's say, for example, I owned a car dealership, or I was a customer at a car dealership. I walked into the car dealership and I said, let me get that Ferrari right there. Okay, wait, pause. Let's make it more realistic because I'm on a state salary. Let me get that Toyota Corolla 1996 right there. If I walk up to the finance manager or the sales manager, I'm going to negotiate the best interest rate for myself. Makes sense, right? But wouldn't it even make more sense if I had another offer that they would have to try to match? Then we can get a lower interest rate. The same thing goes for colleges and universities. You want to see what the best possible offer they will have to give to you. So you can only do that by making sure you have another option. But wait, what if the school that you plan to go to didn't give you enough money? Well, you want to have a plan B in place. So therefore, if you choose not to go to that school because it's too expensive, you have a plan B to fall back on. That's why you want to make sure you always have a plan B. And the last but not least, just throwing information up there. When I was a senior financial aid counselor at McDaniel College, I remember when a student came into my office and they said, Mr. Ellis, I was just trying to get the FAFSA in on time so I can be eligible for one of your McDaniel grants. I said, great, but there's no way you're going to tell me that you work 15 hours a week and you made $60,000. Trust me, this person worked at McDonald's and said that he made $60,000. I'm pretty sure if any one of us for 15 hours a week can earn $60,000 in a year, I guarantee you will be in that job. So what we had to do was update his FAFSA, and because we had to update, we didn't have any more money. We didn't have any money left. Guess what happened? We of course we could not award him. So you want to make sure that you're accurate as possible. If you have any questions and you're trying to complete it, this is why you're here tonight, so we can help you later on. If you're outside of that, you have any additional questions, this is why we continue to be here. This is why our offices are also in Washington as well. So these are the current interest rates for loans. We want you to understand what it means to take out a loan because it's very important. Regardless if you take out a federal loan that will get serviced by the federal government, or if you go to Wells Fargo and they offer you a private student loan, these are loans you have to repay back. Keep that in mind. So if I give you $1, I'm going to expect $1.10 back. Okay, you get that? I'm not expecting $1 back. I'm expecting it back with interest. So you want to keep that in mind. But sometimes you're also with federal loans, but more all the time, you are capped for the amount you can use or take out. That's why you have to make sure that you're planning ahead. Okay, next one. So a couple of different things that we want to touch on. What it means for a cost of attendance. Cost of attendance includes your tuition and fees, room and board, books and supplies, transportation costs, personal expenses, and miscellaneous. Now, raise your hand if you sleep in a room by yourself. All right, there we go. You love it, right? No one can bother you. You fart by yourself. No one smells it. You enjoy it. I know some of you light up your own rooms. So, somebody used to call the hazmat team to go in there. Well, guess what? You might be in a room with another person when you're in college, or 2 other people, or 3 other people. You have to plan to pay for your meal plan. And guess what? You only get a certain number each semester. You also have to plan on how to get around when you're on campus or off campus. Not every place has Uber, Lyft, or a ride-sharing company or Metro. You have to plan for all of this. You have to plan to pay for books and supplies. Because guess what? No one's going to hand it to you for free. Well, there may be some cases, there may be some opportunities if you have another classmate that took the class or online store. But you also have to pay for the personal expenses. What that means is, while you're in school, you don't want to run out of three things. Soap. Yes, we agree, right? I think we all agree on that one. You don't want to run out of toothpaste. Don't want to be the one with bad breath in the morning. Okay? And you don't want to run, one of the most important things, out of money for food. So you have to plan for these things as well. Now what happens is that when you complete the FAFSA and you get the EFC, I really want you to understand this, and this is what Wells Fargo touched on today. The EFC is not the amount that you have to pay to the college or university. All it is that it's giving you a number, let's say it's 1,000, that the federal government, the state government, and the colleges and universities and private career schools are just saying, okay, we're going to look at this list that says from 0 to 99999. This person's expected family contribution is 1,000. 1,000 equals 10,000 of our scholarship or 10,000 of our grant. Well, let's say you have a 2,000 EFC. Okay, well, 2,000 is 5,000 of our scholarship or 5,000 of our grant. They're just matching it up with the appropriate number that you may be eligible for. Okay? It's not what you have to pay because you haven't enrolled at a college, university, or private career school yet, which means that you don't have a bill. So I don't want you to get afraid when you see that number. Just wait for the college and university to tell you exactly what they have to offer to you. And this is how it breaks down. When you hear cost of attendance, that just means that this is what the school is saying. This is the total cost of going to our school. So for this example, we'll say it's $50,000. Well, guess what? They take away 5,000, remaining of 45,000. They say that they're going to try their best to find you 45,000 in total financial aid. So when you get your bill, what's going to be on the bill itself is your tuition, is your fees, is your room and board. And that is what they're going to expect you to pay. But wait, they give you financial aid. So your bill, they said you owe $28,000. But then you receive an educational assistance grant from us. You receive a scholarship from the school. You receive a Pell Grant from the federal government. You receive 2 loans, and the student will get a refund that they can use to buy books, that they can use to pay for food. But students, if you get that refund, do not buy sneakers. Do not go to the quickest or the closest party you can believe and splurge like you have a lot of money. You want to save that money. Buy what you need and only what you need. For the reason being, EFC or expected family contribution on the left is 5,000. The tuition bill, which is why we show the difference between the two. So what we mean by this is that when you look at your student aid report after you complete the FAFSA, just look at it and say, okay, we're going to wait to see what the school has to offer to us, and then we'll find out how much we have to pay. Okay? So today, after this, you're going to complete the FAFSA. You won't know what you have to pay until you hear back from the school. Okay? So we wanted to expand real quick before we get into the Maryland State Aid programs. Exactly what Wells Fargo has already talked about were the myths. He covered a number of those, and we just wanted to add one of these. It doesn't matter to me that the FAFSA is available in October. I still have plenty of time to file. I am grateful you were here today because the reality is you do not have a lot of time to file. Money is limited, and this is why we're grateful, myself, Wells Fargo, Parkdale High School, is that you're taking being proactive and making sure you complete the FAFSA to try to secure as much money as you possibly can. So we're grateful for that as well. Let's get into it. So when you complete the FAFSA, or before you complete the FAFSA, you have to create an MD-CAPS account. It's very important that you do. This is how we're going to be able to contact you and let you know that you are eligible for any state aid. For an example, let's say you're eligible for a particular grant and we have no way of contacting you. Well, you have 2 weeks to accept an award. After that, your award is canceled. It gets sent back to us. We are re-awarded out to someone. So it's important that what you're doing right now and today while you're at the computer is creating an MD-CAPS account. Make sure that you put an active email address on there. Make sure that you go ahead and get that completed and you receive an email. So therefore, we can then send you an email or notify you that you are eligible for a particular award. This is what it looks like. We know it's not pretty. We're working on it. We want to put in a lot of blue and yellow and green, make it all a little fancy. But this is how you know that you went to the right spot. This is how you know you're at the right website. So keep that in mind as well. Now we have this wonderful program under our program of Howard P. Rawlings Educational Excellence Award. Now with this particular award, this was named after a delegate here in the state of Maryland that was a champion of higher ed. We enjoy these awards because guess what? Part of our Educational Assistance Award is up to $3,000. All you need to do to apply for this particular scholarship or grant is fill out a FAFSA, which you're going to do today. But even if you plan to go out of state, just list a Maryland institution on that FAFSA. I did not say apply. I did not say you have to be accepted into. All I said was that you're going to list one out of the 10 options that you have. I don't care if you list 9 schools that are out-of-state institutions. Just make sure one of them is a Maryland school. That way we have the opportunity to tell you if you're eligible for any particular grant as well. We also have what's called the Guaranteed Access Grant. You have to have an unweighted cumulative 2.5 GPA. It does come with income requirements, but guess what? When you file the FAFSA and you list the Maryland institution on it, it allows us to see if you're eligible for that. Also with this as well, you have to enroll in 30 credits in your sophomore year to receive the max. Also with this is that if you are eligible for a guaranteed access grant, we have private colleges and universities here in the state of Maryland that will match that amount dollar for dollar. So you really may be looking at $36,800, which means that that takes the bulk of your cost. We also have legislative scholarships, part of the senatorial and delegate. The senatorial scholarship requires an SAT on file, but guess what? It can also, all of these scholarships can be used for. It can be used for half-time enrollment, part-time enrollment. It can be used for full-time. If you're a graduate student, if you're an undergraduate student, which basically means you're going into school to get your bachelor's, if you're looking into a private career school, it can be used for that. Now, these particular awards, under certain circumstances, can be taken out of state with you. But most importantly, we administer money to the local senators and local delegates, and they administer it or they give it out to students at their discretion. So you want to make sure you're contacting them. Take a picture of that website. Go to that website. Contact them. Because they can just contact, if you want, we had a case where a student walked up to a delegate's door. I'm not saying doing that because that's kind of creepy. She walked up to the door, knocked on the door and said, look, I'm interested in one of your scholarships. She said, you take an initiative. Do you have an essay? She pulled out her phone. She showed him the essay. He read it and he gave it to her on the spot. That's simple. Sometimes they may ask for an application. Sometimes they may ask for an essay. It can be that. It's entirely, she asked, is it like a personal statement essay? It can be that. It's entirely up to the senator, it's entirely up to the delegate. But when you're writing essays, I want you to think and write one that says, it's called a tweaker essay, which means you can tweak it to how the organization or the criteria that's set forth by the organization. Basically answering the question of who you are. Same thing as the personal statement. What they're looking for is that why are you in a position that you are in and what you plan to do? Answer that question. Be as transparent as possible, but also make it about 5 pages and condense it or keep or lengthen it if you need to. But make sure you have that on hand, because it's easy to tweak an existing essay than it is to rewrite over and over and over again. But don't be afraid if someone asks you to write an essay. Be prideful of that, because I will tell you this. 3 students were able to obtain over $1 million in grants, scholarships, other financial aid here in the state of Maryland. 2 of them were out of this county. So that tells you there's money out there. So you want to make sure that you're contacting them. The senatorial scholarship renews every single year for up to 4 years. You have to complete the ACT or SAT. Also, with the delegate scholarship, it does not automatically renew every single year. So you have to contact your local delegate, ask them, or keep applying every single year. We're not asking for you to remain in school 9 years. We don't want to make sure that you are doing it in a reasonable amount of time. We also have a 2+2 transfer scholarship for those of you that wish to go to a community college, then graduate and go to a public or private college or university. You must have a cumulative GPA of a 2.5 and be full-time. And you may be eligible for an additional $2,000. Now, the $2,000 is not going to replace other aid. It's going to be including of other aid. So let's say you get a $15,000 scholarship from the college. Now you technically have $17,000 because it's not going to replace that 15. That 15 is not going to decrease to 13. It's going to be added together. So you're more likely you're looking at more money as long as you're going about that. Now with the 2+2 transfer scholarship, you have to file a FAFSA. So this process that you're doing today, you have to get ready to do it next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, as long as you are enrolled in a college or university. We also have an unaccompanied homeless youth exemption. It's a tuition waiver for all of the students if you do become homeless or you are homeless right now. And we also have unique population aid that will cover, let's say, for example, you're the spouse or the child or someone that was involved with the 9/11 or military, or in the military 9/11, Afghanistan and Iraq conflicts. There is this type of aid for you, as well as a tuition waiver for those of you that may be under guardianship or in foster care as well. We also have resources and informational services that will benefit you. We have email alerts and text messaging that would enable you to be able to receive the alerts on the topics that you select. So you're not going to get 100 text messages a day. So if you just say, look, I just want information on the upcoming deadlines, and get this, students, and I really want you to understand this. Deadlines are very important, and organizations take deadlines very seriously. So if you see a deadline, make sure that you are trying to do your best to meet that deadline. And this just not goes to applying for a scholarship. This goes while you're in school. This goes while you're in the workforce. Deadlines are very vital, okay? So you want to keep that in mind as well. We do have a new MHEC website where you can find information about how to prepare for college. And we also have a Maryland Go For It website where you can visit. As students, you know exactly what grade you're in. We have information that will help you navigate the process in your particular grade. For parents, we have a step-by-step so you can help you navigate the student and for you to learn more information about the process as well. Now get this as well. If you use Google or you use an app, you can translate the information on this website to Spanish. So if you read better in Espanol, make sure that you go ahead when you're going to the internet browser that you switch the language out and it will translate everything into Spanish or your preferred method of language, okay? We do have net price calculators. Every school is supposed to have a net price calculator, which will help you estimate the balance without applying to the college and getting a bill. So you sort of can predict how much money it will cost to go to that school. What we did was that on our Maryland Go For It website, if you look on the left-hand side, you click on the net price calculator. We have a list of all of the colleges and universities here in the state of Maryland. Now that would help you go through the process and say, okay, this is how much it costs to go to school here. And Maryland is home to the DREAM Act, which basically means that students, if you are considered undocumented, you can receive in-state tuition at our public institutions. So you want to keep that in mind as well. We also have a telecast will be filmed on site of Six Flags, and don't worry, they do not want me on that site because they knew I would be riding rides and caring less about recording, but it's perfectly fine. This is a wonderful 30 minutes that you can partake in, and it will help dive into the nuances of financial aid. And you'll also be able to receive advice from experts around in the field. We also are on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. We're also on YouTube and SoundCloud, so we recommend that you follow us. We always have new information coming out. We're always supporting the colleges, universities, and the private career schools here in the state of Maryland. So feel free to follow us and learn about the upcoming information as well. So a couple of final recommendations is that the first thing I always would say when I get to this particular moment is that either one of us, fact check us all. Go back home, look it up, do your own research, fact check us all, because it's important that you understand that. For example, how many gentlemen are about 6'2" and taller? Raise your hand. With an equal, I'm 6'2", so that's good. Okay, one, there's a tall scholarship, you may be eligible for that. How about any ladies 4'10" and under? There's a short scholarship, you're eligible for that. Raise your hand if you are left-handed. Okay, there's a left-handed scholarship for that. Raise your hand if you wear glasses. Okay, no pun intended, it's something called the 4-eyed scholarship. Raise your hand if you cannot dance. I have no rhythm. My rhythm is the worst. Like I was born with 2 left feet. Like I just horrible. So, you know, if you ask me to machacho or anything, like I'll destroy it. Don't ask me, I'll destroy it. I can't even 2-step. Anyway, there's something for us called the 2 left feet. Did you know that? There's scholarships for your eye color. There's scholarships based upon the hobbies and what you do. Make sure that when you're looking up information, there are unique scholarships out there. In fact, if you Google unique scholarships, you actually find a list of 114. Okay? So you want to keep that in mind as well. But also understand this. Watch out for bad information. And this is why we're saying double check us, double check the things that you hear to make sure you're following up. Also, when you're getting all your documentation, make sure you meet all deadlines and make sure that you guys are applying early. Make sure that you're doing that now. Okay? Sound good? You have any questions? All right, well, thank you for having me. Thank you, Parkdale High School, for affording us the opportunity to come here today. We look forward to helping each and every one of you through the process tonight. And if I don't get to speak to you, you have a great night. Thank you.
Do you want me to stop?
Are you on that?
So everyone, if you haven't done it already, you can go to FAFSA